How the world's best investors get it wrong and still make millions. Welcome back to my channel. My name is John, and today I want to talk about a book that was brought to my attention by someone in my Discord chat. And this book is called The Art of Execution. How the world's best investors get it wrong and still make millions. So the author, Lee Freeman Shore, basically ran an experiment for a couple of years, 7 years to be exact, where he went out and looked for 45 of the best investors that he could find. And he gave these investors anywhere between 20 to 150 million to invest in whatever funds or stocks they wanted to invest in. And the rules were simple, that each of these investors had to only invest in their best ideas. So they could not have more than 10 ideas at the most at any point in time. So because these 45 investors were ones that Shore deemed to be very successful or good investors, almost all 45 of the investors actually made money over the 7-year period. But what's interesting is that their performances varied greatly. And this book essentially addresses some of the findings in the 7-year experimental period. So I'll link to the book below in case you are interested in learning more or to read this book yourself. And of course, this book assumes that these investors have a good idea of what stocks are good to buy and what stocks are good to avoid. And the most valuable point from this book is that a lot of the performances for each of these investors were dictated by how they dealt with both losing and winning positions after they entered into a stock. Shore classified the investors into 5 categories: rabbits, assassins, hunters, connoisseurs, and raiders. And the data says that being a rabbit or a raider was something that you want to avoid. So the first category is rabbits. And rabbits are the kind of person that does nothing when the stock they enter into starts to fall or starts to move into a losing position. These rabbits were often described as people that were more interested in being right than in making money, and usually would find ways to defend their losing positions. With this group of people, you will often hear them blame others or the market for their failures. The market turned around. I was unlucky. It wasn't my fault. Who could have seen these circumstances occur? And the truth is, rarely do you ever see a good investor blame the market for why their stock portfolio is doing good or bad. The lesson from this book is that you should always try to avoid being a rabbit. When your position goes against you, you should either be thinking about trimming your position or adding to it. And doing nothing when your stock is dropping is generally the worst thing you can possibly do. The next category is what the book calls assassins. And these are the kind of people that take losses really quickly. So in this category, if the stocks have dropped or not recovered within 6 months, a lot of these investors would have already quickly sold out of their positions before taking on losses of more than 20%. In fact, in this book, 83% of the investors sold out their positions within a year if the stock price did not recover from their original buying point. There was also a study done in the Journal of Finance in 2006 that said some of the investors with the best returns oftentimes cut their losses really quick. So being an assassin or taking losses or quick losses on losing positions is a very viable strategy. The next category are investors who are hunters. And these are people that added to their position as their stock prices continue to fall. So for me personally, as a value investor, as my stocks tend to fall, I tend to like them a lot better. So you'll oftentimes see me tell people to be patient and then loading up when the stock price has gotten even cheaper. And although statistically being a hunter is a very successful strategy, I would say that as a retail investor, you have to be very careful to be a hunter, because a lot of people only look at the stock price. And just because the stock price has fallen doesn't necessarily mean that the stock price is value or a good price. But if you do find companies that are good value and it continues to drop, adding to it is a long-term successful strategy. The next category are what are called raiders. And these are people that are quick to take profits on winning positions. In this category, investors, raiders, don't tend to do very well. There's only one exception where a raider can be very successful, is that if the investor is both a raider, which means they take quick gains, but they also happen to be an assassin. So they also cut their losses really quick. And this combo is the only combo of raiders that can be successful, people that take quick gains. As an investing strategy, definitely you should always be greedy and give your winners a chance to run. Connoisseurs are people that let their winners run. And what's interesting about this category is that the amount of people that actually have winning stock picks in this category is the least. But because they let a lot of their winners run, in the long term, they actually have the best returns. In fact, the book says that the people in the connoisseur category tend to get 60% of their stock picks wrong. And whether you're a growth investor or a value investor, all the best investors are connoisseurs, people that let their winning stocks run. This is still a category that I constantly struggle with, and I like reading these kind of books to kind of reinforce me, to let myself know that when I have winners, and just be patient and let them run. So the main takeaway from this book is not anything that I didn't know before, but it's a really good reinforcement to my attitudes and my philosophy toward the stock market. Invest in your best ideas. When you have a winner, make sure to let it run. And when you're losing, either cut your losses small or make sure that you are ready to add to the positions. Doing nothing is really the worst course of action. So I hope you guys found this interesting. I thought it was a great book to kind of reinforce what I already know. And I wanted to share that with you guys. So I'll see you guys in the next video.